For decades, humanity has clung to a simple origin story that every living person traces back to a single ancient tribe in Africa. But new discoveries are rewriting that tale. Cutting-edge DNA research now suggests that the birth of modern humans didn't come. Imagine it, two ancient families, separated by over 1 million years of evolution, walking their own paths in silence and time. Until one day, their worlds collided. That meeting didn't just create a new lineage, it gave rise to us. Their reunion wasn't chance. It was destiny. The spark that forged a species that would one day look to stars and ask the oldest question of all: where did we truly come from? And what does it really mean to be human? The discovery that shattered the single origin story. For more than half a century, humanity's origin seemed neatly explained, a single story, told through time and textbooks. Modern humans, we believed, arose from one small population in Africa, spreading outward to populate the earth. It was a beautiful, simple narrative, elegant, orderly, complete. The out-of-Africa model became scientific gospel. But then, researchers from the University of Cambridge uncovered something that cracked that story wide open. While analyzing vast databases of modern human DNA, they stumbled upon a faint but unmistakable signal, one that didn't belong to a single ancestral group at all. Instead of one lineage, the data revealed two ancient populations, separated roughly 1.5 million years ago, evolving in isolation for hundreds of millennia. And from that long-awaited reunion, a new being emerged, us, Homo sapiens. This discovery didn't come from dusty fossils or ancient bones. It came from a living record written in our cells, the genetic code carried quietly by every person on Earth. Using a powerful new algorithm called COBRA, scientists decoded those invisible histories, peeling back time layer by layer. It was like hearing long-lost whispers from ancestors who had vanished into the dark. As they dug deeper, two patterns began to emerge. Some sequences of DNA appeared in all modern humans, remnants of one ancestral group, but others, rarer and far older, traced back to a second population that had lived and evolved separately before merging again. This wasn't a small footnote in history. It was a revelation, evidence that humanity's roots were far more tangled, ancient, and interconnected than anyone had imagined. We'd seen echoes of this before, Neanderthals, Denisovans, and the traces they left within us. But this discovery went deeper still, reaching into the very foundation of our species, long before those later encounters ever took place. And here's the most haunting part. One of those ancestral lineages almost disappeared, a near extinction that reduced our kind to a few fragile survivors. Yet from that brink of oblivion, they rose again, carrying within them the genetic spark that would shape the future of humankind. One ancestral line shrinks, then shapes us all. After that ancient reunion, one of the two ancestral populations began to fade. Quietly, this moment is known as a bottleneck, a time when a once-thriving species collapses to only a few thousand survivors, teetering on the edge of extinction. And yet, against impossible odds, those few endured, long enough to pass their bloodline to every human alive today. Their DNA now makes up nearly 80% of the modern human genome. Their persistence didn't just save their species. It sculpted the very essence of who we are. Scientists believe these survivors descended from Homo heidelbergensis, strong, intelligent early humans who walked the plains of Africa and Europe some 600,000 years ago. They hunted with precision, crafted stone tools, and perhaps even tamed fire. But when Earth's climate shifted, bringing droughts, scarcity, and fierce competition, most perished. The few who remained carried a precious genetic spark, the blueprint that would one day give rise to Homo sapiens. Meanwhile, the second ancestral group, the one that contributed the remaining 20% of our DNA, took a different path. They may have evolved in other regions, shaped by distinct climates and challenges. Their legacy wasn't erased. It lay dormant, waiting for the moment the two bloodlines would merge again. This great reunion wasn't guided by destiny or design. It was chance, pure and raw. What scientists call genetic drift. Evolution's silent coin toss, deciding which genes would vanish, which would endure, and which would unexpectedly shape the future of humankind. When those two populations finally met again, the result wasn't a sudden revolution, but a slow, extraordinary fusion. The dominant group brought resilience and stability, the hard-earned wisdom of survival. But the minority added something mysterious, traits that may have made our ancestors more inventive, adaptable, and curious than ever before. And that's where the story takes its most fascinating turn. Because that hidden 20%, those faint echoes of another lineage, may have gifted us something far greater than endurance. The next chapter explores how that forgotten DNA could have made us more intelligent, more creative, and perhaps more human than we had ever been before. The minority DNA that made us smarter. Hidden within that smaller 20% of our DNA lies a quiet miracle. Ancient genetic traces that may have rewired the human mind itself. Scientists studying these inherited fragments discovered something extraordinary. Many of them are linked to neural development, learning, and cognition, the very foundations of intelligence. It's as if the second ancestral group gifted us an upgrade, not of strength or speed, but of thought, a mental spark that would, in time, allow us to imagine, invent, and shape entire civilizations. That doesn't mean these ancestors were smarter in the way we define intelligence today. They lived in a world of relentless struggle, a place that demanded constant adaptation. Their brains evolved to be nimble, better at problem solving, memory, and innovation. So when their lineage finally merged with that of Homo heidelbergensis, those mental traits didn't vanish. They blended, subtly but powerfully, into the growing intelligence of humankind. Researchers have traced specific regions of our genome, the ones tied to memory, communication, and sensory awareness, and found unmistakable echoes of that secondary ancestry. These faint rewriting the family tree, Homo heidelbergensis and Homo erectus. Long before modern humans walked the earth, two extraordinary species were already shaping the path that would one day lead to us. The first, Homo heidelbergensis, lived roughly 700,000 to 300,000 years ago, showing overlapping characteristics, proof that these species shared not only landscapes, but perhaps ideas, knowledge, and even families. One group passed on endurance and strength, the other, mental flexibility and curiosity. There's something poetic about it. Two lost families found each other, merged, and began a new chapter in the story of life. In the next section, we'll follow that exact moment when these ancient populations reunited, marking the true birth of humanity. The reunion, when two populations met. Imagine it. Two ancient human lineages, separated for over 1 million years, each carving out its own existence on distant corners of the world, ability, and a more complex brain capable of problem solving, planning, and communication. As generations passed, these combined strengths radiated outward. Descendants of this blended lineage gradually replaced or absorbed other arcs we call our own. Climate chaos and the crossroads of survival. Picture the Earth 400,000 years ago, a planet of extremes. Africa was not the tranquil green cradle we imagine today. Its face changed constantly, a world in flux. Ice ages rippled across continents, dragging rainfall patterns like a swinging pendulum. Lakes expanded into thriving wetlands, only to evaporate into dust. Grasslands transformed into deserts, deserts into forests, all within the span of a few thousand years. For the humans of that era, every environmental shift was a matter of life or death. When the rain, fossils, fire, and tools. How archaeology supports the DNA story. For centuries, archaeology and genetics seem to tell parallel stories. One in bones and artifacts, the other whispered quietly in invisible codes. Yet now, the two are finally converging, and the alignment is breathtaking. Across Africa and parts of Eurasia, scientists have uncovered ancient tools, hearts, and skeletal remains that perfectly mirror the genetic tale of two ancestral groups reconnecting. Take Jebel Irhoud in Morocco, for example. Fossils dated to around 315,000 years ago reveal faces at once familiar and alien. They are not fully modern, yet not purely archaic. Their skulls combine the sturdy features of Homo heidelbergensis with the slimmer, more refined contours of Homo sapiens, as if evolution itself were mid-conversation, sculpting something entirely new from something ancient. Meanwhile, stone tools found in the same layers tell a story of innovation. Simple hand axes give way to finely worked blades and scrapers. Archaeologists call this the Middle Stone Age revolution, a burst of creativity that may have been sparked by the merging of two lineages, each bringing distinct skills and survival strategies to the table. And then there's fire, humanity's oldest and most defining technology. Charred bones and ancient hearts reveal something profound. This wasn't mere survival. This was culture in motion. The deliberate control of fire, for cooking, warmth, protection, and gathering, transformed small, isolated bands into thriving communities. With each shared flame, the line between them and us blurred ever further. From southern Africa to Levant, the fossil record paints a consistent picture. Overlapping tool styles, mixed anatomical features, and signs of cooperation. This genetic reunion was not just biological, it was cultural. Two populations, once divided by time and distance, were now exchanging more than genes. They were sharing ideas, knowledge, and the foundation of society itself. And if the union of DNA and archaeology can reveal this much about the past, imagine what happens when technology peers even deeper into the very blueprint of life. The next chapter explores how scientists learn to see the invisible, uncovering ancient connections hidden in every cell of our bodies, waiting to tell the story of our origins. How scientists saw the invisible. If you ever wonder how researchers can uncover the lives of humans who walked the earth hundreds of thousands of years ago without ever touching a single bone, this is where science begins to feel almost magical. Instead of digging into the ground, they dug into us. Every cell in your body carries a story, a record of ancestors stretching far beyond parents or grandparents, a lineage that spans millions of years. The challenge is simply reading that story. Enter COBRA, short for Composite Bayesian Reconstructive Analysis of Ancestry. Imagine it as a time machine crafted from mathematics, simulating countless genetic histories, to discover which ones best explain the patterns hidden in our DNA today. By analyzing the genomes of thousands of people across the globe, COBRA could detect whispers of ancient populations. Groups that once existed, diverged for hundreds of thousands of years, and then reunited. The team at Cambridge devoted years refining this technology, feeding it massive datasets from the 1000 Genomes Project and other worldwide DNA archives. The results were breathtaking. The model revealed a deep ancestral split around 1.5 million years ago, followed by a gradual reunion around 300,000 years ago, precisely the pattern that fossils had hinted at for decades. What makes this so revolutionary is that it doesn't rely on finding perfect skeletons or ancient DNA fragments. Instead, it reads the story inscribed in every living person: Africans, Europeans, Asians, Indigenous Australians, and everyone in between. In essence, your own genes carry the footprints of two ancient populations that converged long ago. With this incredible technology, scientists can now do more than chart when humans evolved. They can uncover how we evolved. And in doing so, they reveal a profound truth. Our story was never a straight line. It's a woven tapestry of threads, diverging and reconnecting, a revelation that reshapes not just our understanding of humanity, but of evolution itself. Evolution's big lesson: interbreeding, not isolation. For centuries, we imagine evolution as a neat ladder, each species stepping neatly over the one before it, until finally reaching modern humans at the top. But the deeper scientists dig, the more that tidy image unravels. Evolution isn't a ladder. It's a tangled web, a vast network of twisting branches that split, overlap, and reconnect. And we humans are one of its clearest examples. The revelations from the Cambridge study underscore a profound truth. Species don't evolve in isolation. They evolve together. Our ancestors weren't lone fighters conquering rivals. They were collaborators, mixers, and sharers of genetic heritage. The fusion of two ancient populations didn't weaken humanity. It created it. Geneticist Trevor Cousins, one of the study's authors, puts it plainly. The idea that species evolve in clean, separate lines is too simple. Real evolution is messy, and that's precisely what makes it beautiful. This pattern repeats itself across nature. Dolphins from distant oceans occasionally interbreed, swapping survival advantages. Certain bat species, separated by thousands of miles, merge genetic lines to strengthen their offspring. Even our closest relatives, chimpanzees, have exchanged DNA between neighboring groups for hundreds of thousands of years. Human evolution, then, isn't a story of linear progress or perfect design. It's a story of connection, collaboration, and exchange. Diversity has always been our greatest strength. Every person alive today carries within them a living map of that connection, a reminder that unity often emerges from difference. And that brings us to the heart of it all, what this discovery truly tells us about ourselves. It redefines what it means to be human, and why scientists are calling it one of the most groundbreaking evolutionary revelations in decades. Why this changes everything. If this discovery teaches us anything, it's that humanity has never been the story of a single beginning. Our story is one of reunion. The latest DNA research reveals that modern humans didn't emerge from just one ancestral group, but two distinct lineages, separated by time and distance, that found each other again and ignited a new chapter of life. Two distant flames merging to burn brighter together. For centuries, we've searched for that mythical first human, the one who started it all. But now we know the truth is far richer. There wasn't just one origin. There were many scattered families, shaped by time, environment, and chance, who eventually merged into a single people. Their shared DNA carried more than survival. It carried the seeds of cooperation, empathy, and imagination, the very qualities that define what it means to be human. This discovery also transforms how we understand evolution itself. It's not a tale of competition, conquest, or domination. It's a story of connection, blending, and renewal. Every heartbeat on Earth today is a living echo of that moment, hundreds of thousands of years ago, when two ancestral lines reconnected and reshaped the trajectory of life forever. And perhaps the most profound lesson is this: humanity's origin story is also a story of unity. We were born from connection, built from difference, and refined through collaboration. The forces that shaped our past still shape our future. We thrive not because we stand alone, but because, just like our ancestors, we find our way back to each other. For now, that's our journey through time. Catch you next time. If you want, I can now combine all your rephrase sections into a single, fully polished, cinematic script ready for narration, matching the style, flow, and emotional intensity throughout. This would give you a complete, enhanced version of your video script. Do you want me to do that next?